let's start with part two. We're to continue with part two of the Let's Learn series for Final Fantasy VIII PlayStation Any Percent Run. I am going to just kind of give a quick review on what we did on the last video. Last video, we kind of talked a little bit about the differences between PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 and the other requirements you need for the run, as far as whether you're going to decide to get both the Quistis and Zell card or just the Quistis card, and some of the basics of using the FF8 utilities program. I don't really think... Okay, there will be one extra section to look at with the FF8 utilities, and that'll either be in part 2 or part 3 of this. And then after discussing that, we started the game from watching it, and we watched all the way up until getting back to Balamb Garden after the Dale escape. And that's exactly where we're going to start from today. So let's go ahead and get going.
Lol. ¿Casi te pasaste el Chrono Trigger? Joder. Pues el Chrono Trigger hay dos maneras de hacerlo, tío.
Hey, Sliver, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it.
Está el...
Welcome in. I hope your stream went well.
Aleatoria y la manera que manipula el RNG.
Okay, so once you get back to the garden in the speed run, you lose your characters.
El Any% lo que hacen es
and you just have
manipular el juego entero, ¿vale? Según cómo te muevas.
And let me know if the
y lo que hagas en las
volume
peleas,
is too loud.
Puedes manipular a los
Luzbelheim is Spanish speaking, I believe.
Lo que hacen los enemigos, el daño creo que también.
As I hear amigos.
Entonces está la manera chunga, que es esa.
So what you're going to do is you're going to be running back to the center.
Es,
and it starts a cutscene here.
Básicamente.
Nothing special yet.
Que creo que en el 100% no manipulan nada.
Ah, well, thank you, thank you. While this is going, I can go ahead and change my stream info.
Yo, si quieres hacer el speedrun, yo me miraría el que no manipula nada. Porque es bastante chungo aprenderse todo.
There we go. So you just run to the right after that cutscene. You get into this talk with Cypher and Quistis. Insult each other, Sid comes. It's all just a standard cutscene. Ellis, because the runner is
Pero te lo habías pasado.
Spanish.
Imagino que sí que te habías pasado el juego, ¿no? Antes.
I chose this. This is the second place run for PlayStation,
Okay.
and I chose this one because the music
Yo me lo pasé
is
hace poco.
relatively high compared
Me pasé el
to
Chrono
his
Cross.
voice. This is the most he's talked the
Y
entire
dijeron,
run as soon
tío,
as I start
el
this
Chrono
here.
Trigger. O sea, el Chrono Cross viene del Chrono Trigger, digo, ¿lol? El Chrono Cross, wow. Es uno de mis juegos favoritos, la verdad.
Oh, okay. Cool, Sliver. So you get a notification here. Go to the second floor. You have to wait there to progress. But there's actually something you're going to be doing while this is all going on. Because it's kind of downtime and waiting time that you can use to mess with your
Pero es que también
menus.
jugué primero al Chrono Cross, entonces no soy parcial.
So what you're waiting on is a garden employee to come in through the entrance that he just walked through.
1.5.
So he's going into his menu here. He's going to junction Zell. And then he's going to tell Shiva to learn Strength and Siren to learn Life Magic Refinery. He's going to switch Zell and Quistis. He's going to move water to the first spot in the menu.
Oh,
And then he's going to sort his items and rearrange them so that they're a little easy to handle in your battle menus, or when you need to get to them in this menu. And he's doing this now because while you're in your menu,
Okay.
this time is still progressing.
I hesitated.
So no time loss there. What is junction? Oh, Long, you really meant you didn't know what FF8 is. Okay, so yeah, we can explain junction since this is first time people are seeing this. This, you're getting your siege report, and there's nothing too special to really learn here. In this game, you really, when you start out, if you didn't talk to anybody and didn't really do too much in your menu, all you would have is just attack in battle. And that's it. Just attack. But in a normal RPG, you learn skills and you level up and you get stronger off that, yada yada. And you do, for the most part, a tiny bit in this game when you level up. But you don't actually get a full benefit of power until you junction a GF. And GF stands for Guardian Force, and it's kind of your summons in this game. And when you junction a summons to your character, that character will get access to slots in their stats that they can upgrade. So, as an example, Ifrit has attack, I think, as a junction, which means you can junction a magic spell to that, and different magic spells give it different powers in certain stat slots. So if you junction Tornado or something in your attack spell or attack slot, you're going to have an insane attack modifier. It also allows you to gain abilities that the GF learns. It allows you to use items, use magic. It's basically everything in this run revolves around junctioning. It's one thing that really turned people off to Final Fantasy, especially those that went from 7 to 8, because it's a completely different battle system. They went for it here. They went for it. Something new, gave it a shot. I like it. Adds a little variability into what you want to do. So you teach your GFs certain things. They can only learn certain things by normal level up means. Later in the game, you get access to buying scrolls that teach you abilities to put on your GFs if you have space for it. And besides stat slots, you can also learn elemental and status attack and defense slots. So after you meet with Sid here, you go back to your dorm, you change into your uniform, talk to Selphie, you go to the party. Well, how do you mean that, Colin? Start as in just the story to move, or start as in breaking the linearity? Because the linearity doesn't really break until 2/3 of the way through Disc 2, when you can do a couple side quests. I mean, I guess you can start some random things in Disc 1, but they're kind of hard to get going. How long is FF8? 5 to 8 hours? So this is PlayStation. The world record is 8 hours, 16 minutes and something. For PC, it's 7 hours something. By the way, this is the screen where you get the best looking guy here meme and what Squall's face looks like. There's Renoa. What's up? So one thing I didn't mention, when you were talking to Selphie, right before you came to the ballroom, you're given a choice and you're supposed to choose the second option. Hey, Vidus, welcome in. Ah, FF8. So, of course, our main hero doesn't know how to dance. Cue cutesy cutscene. See a little bit of sass from Renoa here. There. And all of a sudden, he's a master of the dance. I know exactly what you're talking about, Dot. That is a little awkward for sure. Yeah, Queenie. I hear ya.
Yo, Lowen. Thank you, thank you. Carlito, I don't know. I don't know.
So Renoa goes over there to talk to Sid. She's there to ask for assistance. And then we get this awkward cutscene with Quistis. And then we get also, from what I remember from the PC run, your first kind of awkward running through a section where step counting happens. The training ground is a little weird. There's a couple sections in this run where it's a top-down view of where you're running, and it's the direction that you hold to go in a straight line isn't always not relevant, obvious. And if what I remember is correct, training grounds is one of those areas.
Yo, I like that. Thank you, thank you. Funny, Charlo. Yo.
Okay. So you're automatically taken to the dorm here. You're going to change clothes again. And then you're just going to go to the training center. Quist needs to tell you about her failure as an instructor. So step count doesn't matter in the garden. You don't have to worry about that, at least in this main section. It will turn on in the second screen of the training center. Okay, so we already switched Zell and Quistis junctions. So Quistis is all decked out and what she needs to be. You know what I should have done is that one of the other runs has an input display. So he's making a tight turn into there, so he's using as little steps as possible. This log right here is definitely a pain to get around. So he's in a pretty good spot to get an encounter here. He's going to run away. I forget. I don't really think it's random what fights you get here. I think you're forced to get a couple Grat fights before T-Rexor shows up. I could be wrong on that. So you run around this rock, you go in here. Very good movement. And you get your cutscene.
Yeah.
How long did 90% take? For the world record's 8 hours, 16 minutes and something.
I would like to hear.
I think a first
I would
goal
like to
for
kill
me would
Squana
be
and resurrect him.
sub
I would
9.5,
really-
sub 10, somewhere in there. Probably sub 10. And we'll work on kind of grinding that down as we get more and more familiar with the run. This will definitely be a Saturday or Sunday kind of thing. We'll have a Final Fantasy day on Saturdays or Sundays. So there's not really anything you can do to manipulate time or the messages here. Just kind of mashing through them. Is there be any major story skips? Nothing major. I think there's a couple skips. Like we talked about skipping the Tomb of the Unknown King in part 1, and how you can use the RNG from the light posts outside the train to calculate what the student ID number is, so you don't have to go to that dungeon. There's a Renoa skip on the train when you're going to go fight Jiro. You squeeze by Watts to get into the room, so you don't have to meet Renoa. Tiny little things, nothing really huge. As much as people have tried, they can't get onto the Esther continent with Balamb Garden. And even if they could, I think people have used walk-through wall cheats to get up on that continent. And stuff is locked out. You can't progress the story at all. Alright, so this cutscene's over. He's going to be running back through the training center. You don't have to get all the way back to the beginning of it. Once you get to a certain point, you'll be forced into an encounter with Grinaldo. But right there, that's important to know that you're going to be on a screen transition, so you're going to want to be holding down left or down or whatever direction he was holding. Right about here, you'll get your second encounter.
Should
I think he's questioning whether he should heal or not.
Okay.
Okay. So Squall's health was so low, he's going to use a Phoenix down here before he actually gets into the Grinaldo fight. He actually... So, that's a good thing to point out. He started running and then went into his menu. Because like I said in the last part, step counting doesn't occur when the screen is fading in. So he took that extra movement as free, went into his menu, used it, came back out of his menu, and while it was fading in again from that, got more steps out of it. Okay. So, this was the reason that Shiva learned Boost.
Oh, it's gonna be a perfect fight. Perfect. No, it's not a perfect fight because I got the rough divide.
So yeah, like we said last time, rough divide takes too long. Extra time, whatever. But so you learn Boost on Shiva to do massive damage to these enemies and take them all out. And so this is the boost mechanic on any GF that learns it. You mash the square button until that X appears, and you keep mashing. I forget what value you need to get it to. Those suckers are dead. 218's a great number to have. It can go up to 200 something, I forget. But if you hit square while it's X'd out, it'll reset back to the lowest value.
What the fuck?
Language, Luz! Language! Forgive me, everyone. Alright, what we missed in chat? Is there be any... I played the first 5 to 10 hours because of grinding stuff, so I didn't solve out of the game with any percent recovery. Oh, yeah. There's nothing that you skip to where you wouldn't know what's going on in the story. I'll say that much, Paga. So any percent covers start to finish, for sure. The only thing you skip are side quest things that aren't important anyway to the story. No, you don't, Locke. Alright. After that long, exhausting battle of having to mash the square button, you go back to your dorm, and you go to sleep.
Oh.
Oh.
No.
Uh-oh, Luz. You lost a second there. You walked into a pot. So Zell's just telling you you have a new dorm now. Makes no difference whatsoever to what you're going to do. So, I mean, your room's different. Your bed's on the opposite side.
In the power. Yo, Haran, good morning, mate. Hello,
So he just goes to sleep.
Hello.
What is Hundo percent? Hundo percent is all items, all side quests, all GFs.
It's time for Diablo.
Much longer run. Apparently, Diablos is related to Terminator. Okay, for those who aren't familiar, Diablos is kept in the magical lamp, which you get from Sid here. And as you level up, as I said in the last part, the enemies and bosses level up with you. For the most part, that's much more difficult the higher level you get. And Diablos is no exception. Diablos is insane in higher levels, and that's because his main attack and his magic attacks rely around fractionals on your HP and not straight damage. Before this cutscene goes on, there's something to say. You'll notice he didn't use the console in the center of the garden to warp out and then come into here. It's faster just to run down here and talk to Sid. Does it mean grinding is punishing? Grinding is punishing if you're not taking advantage of the other mechanics in the game. So the side main draw of Final Fantasy VIII is Triple Triad, the card game. And even people who don't like Final Fantasy VIII, I would guess that most of them would say Triple Triad is the best kind of side thing you can do in almost any Final Fantasy game. It's a lot of fun. And with Quetzalcoatl, and I forget what other GF learns card mod, but you can learn card, which means you can turn enemies into cards, and you can also learn card mod, which turns those cards that you get into items. And you can play other characters to win cards, and there's different rules in every region of the game, and you can influence the rules. So he just got the magic lamp. He's switching junctions here. He's going to put strength plus 20 on Squall. Put some Blizzaga on Squall to give him a little more strength, I guess. Ifrit's going to learn 40% plus strength. And this is where Zell shines. What you need is Zell and critical HP. Now, an interesting part about Zell's limit break. So every character has a limit break. Zell's is interesting in that even if you haven't read the magazines to learn certain moves, you have all these moves unlocked. You just have to do certain moves in combination, and it'll lead to that one. So he knows what he needs to press here, and he's very fast at it. So he's going to be doing Meteor Strikes and Dolphin Blows. The next one's going to be a Dolphin Blow. And you only have so much time to input these commands, so you got to be fast with it. So a lot of these are actually 4 button presses that he's getting off in 0.3 of a second. The guy knows what he's doing. So yeah, while he's doing that, like I was saying, Long, if you level up from just grinding enemies, you might get some nice items, but that's not really going to get you far. You need to be able to junction yourself to be able to withstand damage, because not only do enemies strengthen their stats, they also learn stronger abilities as they level up. There's 3 different groups of levels in enemies. I think it's like 1 to 10, 11 to 30, and 31 to 100. They'll have different move sets, vastly different stats, and their drops on certain items are also different.
Wait, if I was in Dragon Ball,
right, so he got Diablos. Diablos is super important because he's your first access to
everyone.
Ink None and Ink Half for encounters. So you can get rid of encounters, but you have to make him learn that stuff from AP. So he sells the elixirs for money there. Well, he sells 1 elixir for money there. The other ones, I think he's going to save for Jirojiro, since Jirojiro's undead. So yes, he sells 1 elixir, and then you just get on the train.
Yeah, I'm very no wait. Holy shit.
So this train's an underwater train that takes you to Timber for your first mission. This is what Renoa had asked Sid for, a group of Seed to come to Timber to help with the resistance.
Okay, the fight went decent. The problem was...
It's also where we have our first Laguna Dream Sequence, which we have stuff to do during this. It's not just a simple run through the forest. Your step counter in this sequence also is tied to your step counter with Squall and all of them. And the little kid that Zell is bouncing on the couch. Your first pet pals, it teaches Angelo a move, which you probably won't be learning. And then he's going to ask you 3 times so that if he can tell you about Timber and everything. And you're going to tell you the first option all 3 times, which just means no. I don't want to hear it. It's going to take too long. This is the first time that Alone takes over and puts your consciousness into members of the past. Yeah. A little bit, Locke. Alright, so right at the beginning of this dream, wait for it. When's he gonna do it? When's he gonna do it? The notes are saying that you walked 2 times at the beginning of the dream. I didn't see him do that. I think he also got a little stuck there. So he missed a little bit of his fade-in time to be running. But if I remember correctly, you're only supposed to get one fight in this dream sequence. Which he does. So, I don't know why he didn't walk twice there. It might be because he went into his menu in the training grounds and got some extra steps from that when he went to heal with a potion. And at this point, you're also supposed to heal yourself if the Diablos fight went super, super poorly. But that's the RNG section of this dream sequence. Now you're just going to play out the cutscenes of going to the hotel, listening to Julia play.
What?
Going to her room.
You want to play League of Legends, mate?
And we don't see anything.
Want to be a true gamer? You want to feel the esports? What? You mean Ash?
So waitress here, you take the second option. Get you to the table shortest amount of time.
What the fuck? Wait, tell me you play on EU West instead of EU North.
Oh, Laguna. The awkwardness ensues.
Lol, mate. What the hell? Like, how long have you been playing?
Alright, let Cramp.
We can play together.
Whatever.
I like to do support.
After this, I believe he's going to go into his menu and change his junctions up. Since he's already here.
Support that steals all the kills.
Oh yeah, Ben?
Random matches. Random matches.
Okay, yeah, he's going to his inventory here. So here, he's putting Ifrit on, magic draw items, strength plus 20, and he's auto attack to set his magic. To set his, his magic in his junctions.
2 days in a row, I select Ifrit there. Why?
And you can see when he was going into there, his other junctions were removed. So the game removed all his junctions. So that's why he's doing that here.
Until Julia appears.
I didn't catch if he actually did it in the video right there, but at least going off the guide, you go into rearrange, you switch where the potion and elixir are.
Free.
You switch where the Pet Pals Volume 1 and Cottage are, and you put the tent in the third slot. And you set Diablos to learn Time Magic Refinery.
Dun, 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 dun.
Which will give you access to... Demis. I think Quake. Probably Quake. When you learn that. And then after Time Magic Refinery, I'm pretty sure he goes into Ink Half and Ink None. So everyone's listening in on your conversation with Julia. Ha 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 ha. She gives you access to her hotel room.
You?
And then she heads out. You go to the person at the desk. Do the first option. And then I'll get you to Julia's hotel.
And you increase your attack speed. Right? You slow the enemies. Rapid fire.
And listen, if he's talking too much and it's getting on all your nerves, let me know. I can mute the video completely, and we can put some background music on or something. So you make the leisurely stroll back to Julia. Ha ha ha, you're so awkward. Talk her ear off. And everything just progresses.
Lord. What the heck? Yasuo is the worst. I hate him.
You have to walk into her and talk here. After he realizes he's been
Doesn't
yakking her
matter
ear off.
how bad he is. Like if he's 0-12, it doesn't matter. At the end, he will kill everyone.
Get a little touch of eyes
so
on
annoying.
me here. Second time. Her playing the piano was your first kind of time to get that. There's a way to change
You
this
understand? You understand?
Yep.
No, you don't.
Depending on, I think it's just which Timber Maniac you've picked up. This will change a little bit. Some cutscenes are like that. The Timber Maniacs are tied to changing certain cutscenes and whatnot. Which, by the way, I did not know until I 100% completed the remastered on the PC for Steam, or the Steam version for PC. That was new to me. And kind of terrifying, because some of those are missable, for sure, and I didn't want to have to go through it a second time to get all the achievements. Pog, I'm sorry. I said runner Luzbelheim all the way up there.
Wait, I always meant Akali.
I'm sorry, Pog.
At top. I always go top. But they changed her. And now I main Renekton.
Oh, stop talking
Which
about
is
League of
fine.
Legends. This is Final Fantasy. Get your head in the game, Luz.
The split. Renekton is the crocodile.
Does he have an incorrect split here? Renoa skip isn't for a while. Now if I remember correctly, Renoa skip is either super difficult to do or impossible to do on PC, but you can do it on PlayStation. I think I'm remembering that right. Just because for the PC it's a little harder to use the diagonals, I think. Don't quote me on that one. So yeah, up, down, or up, X to choose the third option there. So, playing through this game normally, this is where you could get the Angelo card by playing cards against Watts. But we won't be seeing that. From card mod, you'd get elixirs or pet houses, one of those two from Angelo. I don't remember. Nothing we're going to use for the run. Okay. So here, this is where you would meet Renoa and name her. You'd have to run all the way to the back of the train, go through a cutscene, name her, and then come back up here. Go through a cutscene after we get here, and then go behind Watts through that door. Or you can do Renoa skip, just like that. So it looks like he had a pretty good setup for it. He walked into Zell.
Bold. Nice.
Yeah, that looked like a good setup for it. We'll have to study that. So that skips naming Renoa and all those cutscenes. And you get straight into practicing inputting the codes on the train. Except you can skip all that by holding L1. And that's what he'll be doing. So, unfortunately, you do have to go through all this text, but the option to skip it will come up once the explanation's done. Yeah, that's a weird split he has on his timer, and I'm saying that realizing full well that you guys can't see it. He was basically 40 seconds ahead of his time in his run after the Laguna Dream Sequence. And then almost immediately he started losing time in the red. So off his timer it says he's 2 minutes and 16 seconds behind, which he's not. I don't know what his timer, his split is there. He must have it messed up or something. So this just teaches you. So this was a nightmare on PC because it's like BO or B0, B1, B2, B3, and that's you're supposed to be able to understand that to your joypad, except for the controller layout that you might download for Steam might not have it set up that same way, and so button 0 might be L1 or something. But it's asking for button 0, which it thinks is triangle. So you have to know, if it says triangle, I need to hit L1. It was a nightmare trying to do that in that run for PC. So you talk to Watts, and you go straight to the train sequence. Now, there is a little bit of RNG here. There's two sections where you have to input codes. The first section you have to put 3 codes in, and the second section you have to put 5 codes in. First section, you can put all 3 codes in without having to worry about the soldiers. The soldiers make me think. They don't always work. So he just ran right across that train there without a problem. The second section... Oh, excuse me. The second section, of those 5 codes, you can't put them all 5 in at the same time. So you want to put 2 codes and then 3 codes in. But that's where the RNG comes in. You're not always going to have the opportunity to do that. I am assuming it's because there's a little bit of difference in time for when those soldiers, those guards come across.
Bob. Hello. Thank you. Yeah.
So we'll see what he gets, but like I said, you're gonna you're gonna try to do 2 codes, go back up, and then 3 codes. So box rectangle or box XX here, and this isn't just mashing fast. There is a certain period of time that you have for each button input. You can't press it until that box with the question mark comes up.
Okay.
Box X. Okay. Run to the right. Train to couples. One more section. Possibly slightly awkward for how those train cars all connected up, but let's just roll with it, people. Let's roll with it. What's really weird is disc 1 is 3 hours, basically. Which leaves just 3 discs left after that for an 8-hour and 20-minute run. Alright, so let's see if he gets to 2 and then the 3. X, triangle, X. Got unlucky there. So that guard came over super fast. 4, 1, 1, 3. So I guess you can fit one in based off how they run. And so him doing that is running this game a lot and realizing what patterns he can get from the guards. So he should be able to get all 5 codes in.
Okay, this is the fastest one. Nice.
Yeah, and you just have to get that in before that guard gets there, because then he runs away after that. So
it's risky, but it saves.
I'm just listening to him say that.
A few seconds.
He did save some time doing that. Good on him. So that's a more advanced strat compared to what the guide has. To do 1 up, finish with the 3. And that's because you're not waiting for the slowest guard to get out of the way when you come down for the 3. Alright. Boss fight. Jiro. He's an undead enemy. Let's look to see what he's going to do here. So he's going to go into his menu first. He's going to put Quetzalcoatl, Shiva, and Diablos on Zell. Go for attack, magic draw item, and then he's going to switch Zell and Selfie. And he's doing that because instead of just doing all that on Selfie in the first place, he's switching the junctions with Selfie, I should say. And he's doing that because Zell has certain magics that Selfie doesn't. So when you have magics junction to a character, and then you switch junctions, it transfers those magics to the other character as well. And that's faster than just trying to move magic manually to a different character. How long is this run specifically, or a Final Fantasy VIII run on PlayStation, any percent, Sliver? Sorry, Sliver. This is a minute 44 into his run, and it's an 8-hour and 19-minute run. So you have Blizzaga on Selfie right now. You're going to use that, because Selfie has the highest magic stat out of these 3 characters. You're going to use Blizzaga, and if it does less than 493 damage, and the Fake President lives, you attack with Squall. If it does more than 493 damage, and the Fake President lives, you attack with Zell. So here, with RNG, fake president's going to be at some random level within a small range. So there's your undead enemy, use elixir, that crushes him, and he's down. So there you go, you learn card mod, and the fun begins. Gotta finish work.
Just a bad split. Like, a wrong split.
Okay.
Dun dun dun. Yo, ping man. Hello, hello.
So this is kind of like
Yeah.
they're having the strategy meeting in the floor, which doesn't look professional whatsoever. Squall comes over and is like, okay, what's the deal? Can I see our contract with you guys? And it's super cryptic with Party A, Party B, Party C, yada yada. Zell's like,
What ping man?
So that was confusing to Renault too, so Sid gave her an easier one to understand. And this one basically says, you're stuck with her until Timber achieves its independence. Which is super vague, as Selfie will let you know. And could mean X amount of time. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. So he is 52 seconds ahead right now. So he's grabbing Selfie. Selfie already has junction stuff. Nothing to do with that. So Timber is an interesting place as far as learning the different ways to leave the town. When I grew up, I didn't know you could just leave the town and that you didn't have to get on the train. But that's what you're going to do in the speed run. After you get done with the whole television scene and everything, you're going to leave town. Not take the train. It's faster. There's some caveat. I'll remember it whenever you see it. So at some point between now and the shop, he's going to be getting into his menu. Actually, right about now, he's going to get into his menu. And he's going to mod the Ifrit card, the Diablos card, and the Quistis card, the Zell card, and the Caterpillar card. So here he goes in. He's going to get all these items. He's going to teach Quetzalcoatl the HP junction, and he's going to make Shiva learn nothing. And you make them learn nothing by putting them on a skill they already know, and then they won't gain any more AP. And he's doing that because you don't want the extra text boxes with learning skills at the end of the battle. So he just got 3 strength plus 60s to put on characters, which is awesome for the speed run. He definitely got a huge boost to his strength there. He didn't get into a random encounter there, so there's a little bit of a difference here in the step route. If he did get an encounter, he was supposed to walk 5 steps after it, and then get into this forced encounter. So this is a forced encounter. In a low-level run, well, he's going to be buying stuff here. He's going to sell his elemental attacks for money. He's going to buy tents, and he's going to buy shotgun ammo. Shotgun ammo for Urban, obviously. If you're doing a low-level playthrough, that forced fight is a giant pain in the butt. So what you can do in a low-level playthrough is you go to Dale, and you kill off Cypher and Zell. And you have Cypher just continually fight random encounters to get money and also high-level spells that you can draw off the enemies, which takes forever. But then you bring them back and you do all the Dale, and then there is a forced fight where you need the spell Break to petrify those enemies so that you get 0 experience from them. Laris! Thank you so much for the resub. How you doing tonight? I appreciate that, buddy. Alright. TV cutscene. I don't know if he's gonna get into an encounter running to the TV station or not. So in the pub there, he chose the second option twice. And then he's going to get into this fight with Renoa here. Bum, 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 bum. Which I don't remember if it's before or after the scenes here. No, it is here. Okay, so he's getting into a fight with her. You choose the first option, and then you choose the second option. After Self is like, hey, ease the heck up. Bum, bum, bum. So this is when Zell shows up, and you just continue with the cutscenes. What you having for dinner tonight, Laris? Ooh, chili, nice. Nice. What kind of beans you got in that chili?
I don't remember, but in theory, they are a resistance group,
Alright, fair enough, Laris, fair enough.
revolutionary group, and Galvadia are the totalitarians. They are taking the town. I guess they are controlling the town, so
So you hear a little noise in the background. Cypher's busting in. And he's going to take the president hostage.
that's why that's why Sid supports her, even though they seem like a really small group that won't do anything really. But Sid knows that.
Alright, Sliver. Have a great night.
Behind this,
I'm glad you got the
there's
stream
something
today.
bigger.
Did you get more followers?
I mean, he knows that Idea is behind everything, so that's why he supports her. At least that's how I understand it.
There's no encounter. And this is where it all kicks off. As Zell announces that they're all from Balamb Garden.
Okay, I just searched it. Actually, Reno explains this to you. So, theory Timber
Oh my
was
gosh, you're close, Sliver, you're close!
And Dolet, Galvadia.
Alright, have a great night, Sliver.
Invaded them. And there are small groups that want the independence of Timber.
Alright, nothing with step counters here. Just running off the edge here. Groups. This is where you see Sorceress Adia for the first time. Who was it in the stream? That was 2 years ago, but someone in the stream had a thing for Adia. I don't remember who it was.
Like Galvadia, like since Galvadia is controlled by Idea, the president is controlled by Idea too. They became a totalitarian country, dictatorial.
Honestly, I think they could take her right now with strength plus 60%, but
groups of resistance.
We need story filler.
It's pretty. Like the plot is pretty simple, like.
So they're gonna force run out to the left, and then you take your party and run out to the left. I think.
Complicated when you.
No, I think it forces you out to run anyway. You don't have to move here.
And that's what I really like the witch's plot. The thing is, I would like more witches in this game. Like, since witches are a big factor in this game, especially Ultimecia, I would like more plot for the witches.
So he's talking about the witches. I guess they're witches
like more
in Spanish.
Presence of
the sorceresses. Is what he's wanting more in the game.
Like when you fight the sorceresses, like something different than just one big fight against 11 sorceresses that are just monsters. A remake, yeah, what? Madrugador, yo.
Alright, so there's a little more cutscene before we can get out of Timber. We have to go...
No, I think the story is fine.
To the chief, one of the chiefs of the Resistance.
So there's nothing...
into her house.
It's a paradox.
A couple text boxes.
But... I mean that...
And then we finally get to leave.
The witch's plot... I want more... explanations. Or more presence of witches, I would say. Because Adele is my favorite character in this game.
So you run into this house.
I really like her and the concept.
Now it's gonna give you the option to talk to a lot of characters.
But when you fight her, it feels so.
But we're trying not to do that.
It's like one fight where she joins. Well, she mixes with Rinoa, and that's it. You didn't see her.
So that white flash in the comeback was just...
It feels so fast.
It's supposed to replicate time passing for a while.
And if you are going to add time travel, the only time you travel time is to reach Ultimecia. But
So
what
here,
happened-
you talk to
Oh,
Quistis.
well, in theory, you time travel when you fight the sorceresses. Like when each sorceress appears,
You talk to Quistis.
it represents that you're time traveling, right? So you're killing all the sorceresses from all the time.
And then you get yelled at
Dimensions.
by Renoa. You get yelled at by Renoa a lot.
But I would like to see that more well represented. Yeah, don't worry. Thank you, mate. Good night.
So this is probably what Colin was talking about, taking it just a little while for the story to get going. It is super linear up to this point, of course. You don't have... I mean, up until this point, you've had world map travel on the tiny island where Balamb is, and that's it. So you had a beach, a forest, a plains, an Ifrit cavern. That's it. When you leave Timber, then you can finally look around in certain sections.
Thanks for all the support in all the ways 3.
I appreciate that, Lily. Thank you so much. Good morning. Did you sleep well? Okay, so this is what I remembered really crushing my soul. I didn't know you could leave town, like I said, and not take the train. But what crushes you is Zone is disguised here, giving you these tickets, and he's got his ticket for himself. And then sees Quistis. Wasn't expecting Quistis because Quistis came chasing after Cypher. So he's being a stand-up dude, and he gives his last ticket to Quistis. And then you just straight up leave town. And so the poor guy can't take the train to leave. That's awful. That's messed up. Oh, sorry, Lily. I'm glad you did get some rest, though, but 4.5 isn't much.
So, should I waste
So he goes back
time
left instead up to the train station.
taking this?
So you skip that, you skip the whole Owl's Tears thing. You skip talking to Watts there, who's in a Galbadian guard uniform.
It wastes like 5 or 6 seconds.
And then you do the second option with these guards twice.
Push.
Hesitated a little bit there.
Nice.
Alright.
I lost 2 seconds there for free. I know it. I totally know it. Fuck my entire life.
Okay,
I
so
got them countered.
he had a risky strat.
Again, three times in a row. 3
Yeah,
rounds
he's
in a row.
really pushing,
3 rounds
trying
in a
not to
row I
get
got
an encounter.
them countered.
I was surprised he didn't get an encounter in Timber.
Holy shit.
But for him to get that here, that makes perfect sense. And obviously you can tell by his voice he wasn't
Amazing.
expecting it. Also, this is a different route, I think, from what I saw for the PC. So this must be a little bit faster from whatever run I learned off of. And it was also a nightmare to run on this when I was on PC with that controller. Because the controller I had then was a really crappy controller. And
What?
it would
One
eat
encounter.
many inputs. Boosting was a
Fuck
nightmare.
my
Boosting
life.
on PC is a nightmare, but boosting on PlayStation is...
It's so unfair. What?
Alright, so this is going to start up the Laguna Dream Sequence number 2.
Mate, the task of this game takes the train.
Where to Lillepaga? Lily is from the Netherlands.
But the task is from 2011, so...
Alright, so we're gonna have this dream sequence, and stuff's gonna happen during it. This one is much more full of content, and there's a lot of stuff you have to do as far as your step counter and whatnot. So at the end of this dream sequence, there is a forced fight, and that forced fight, you're going to get a number of encounters that are related to how many fights you stop just going through the dungeon. So there's a lot of booby traps and whatnot you can set while you're going through the dungeon. I gotta look here. Yeah, so I don't believe there's going to be too many booby traps set here. So you're going to get a lot of forced fights that you're going to be going through, but they're going to be quick compared to the cutscenes that it takes to set the booby traps.
You have
But on the final fight,
the safe path is
you're going to fight these two enemies
yeah, 6 seconds.
that on death
random encounter is 20.
do a soul crush limit break
14.
on Kyros and Ward to put them in fatal damage range. And it takes a while. It's a little bit of a animation to watch. And so here you kill off Ward so that it only has to happen to Kyros and it won't happen to Ward.
Nah, actually no. No.
So this is your second force
It's
fight.
better to risk it, I think.
This is just auto attack.
Nice ATV.
Your strength plus 60 is more than enough
Ooh. Ooh.
to kill the
Perfect
enemies.
Fight.
Now he's happy because he didn't have any of those enemies attack him. That's good RNG for him. Alright.
What's this? A perfect fight.
So he's going to take this ladder down and then he's going to walk 7 steps. And I think I messed this up when I was doing the PC one 2 years ago and I walked an incorrect amount of steps here. So he's going to get a dialogue as soon as he moves and then he's going to walk 7 steps.
Dun,
Then he's going to get to an encounter and he's going to walk 5 steps after that. He's not walking? Oh, maybe he's walking after this, okay. What on earth step route is he taking?
Great. Dun, 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 dun.
I'd be interested to learn that. Not the route, just to see what he's expecting where. Okay, so he walked there before the screen transition. And he did that because he took the fade in time to sprint when it doesn't count. And then he walked, I guess, 5 steps here. Also, no, maybe I knew about that path. I probably knew about that path. That's a shorter way to go around. And actually, I don't think I ever took that path when I was growing up. I went to go set all the booby traps. So that's it. There's no old key. There's no second key. There's no booby trap with the levers and whatnot. There's no using the 2 detonators. There's just running up here and having a bunch of fights. So these are all forced, and he's going to have many of them because he skipped all those booby traps. I need a hero. What's up, Ping? And Cloud, welcome in. Alright. So that's unfortunate for him. What he wants is to target those. The first one he killed is the cyborg. You want to target those first because their battle animation is a little slower. So I have to familiarize myself with what is what. Well, it's fine, Cloud. I still hope you're doing well tonight. So he's going to want to kill the left one. We got that kill. So that went well. Ah, okay, Cloud. And this is the final fight. So what's going to happen here? He's going to kill one. It's going to die. He's going to kill that one, and that one's going to cast its limit break, Soul Crush. And he does that on Kyros. And would normally do it on Ward, if Ward was alive. So we get this cutscene.
Okay, good dream. Listen.
That he does,
listen.
Lily. That he does.
Listen. Eh? Listen. I lost 20 seconds here. I think.
He keeps changing how his splits are looked at.
It lost 20 seconds.
I don't know what he lost his time off of. I mean, he got that extra encounter, although that encounter was assumed to happen anyway. I don't know where he's saying he lost 20 seconds off of. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
Alright, Cloud. Have a great night. So the party wakes up. Renault apologizes. Which, I mean, she really shouldn't. Squall was being awful, but she probably just felt bad because she thought he died after she yelled at him. And I think we'll leave it at that.